Welcome back to r/LegalAdvice, where people ask questions, get advice, and we get satisfaction. If you are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe to join our amazing community, and without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. And the first one is titled, Little Brother, 16, ran away from home because of abusive parents, is staying at my place and doesn't wanna go back. Parents now threatening me with an arrest for kidnapping. Friday at about 10 PM, my 28 male, little brother, 16 male, and a friend of his, 19 male, knocked on my door. I live in IL, he lives with our parents in NC. I was not expecting him at all. He told me that he ran away from home. His friend drove him all the way. My little brother has a very difficult relationship with our parents. This has been going on for years. Our parents are deeply religious and conservative, and they are becoming increasingly radical in their beliefs and downright hateful, and they are very strict and controlling with him. According to my brother, it has become unbearable at home lately because someone at his school reported him to our parents for touching hands with another boy. They lost it, they are convinced he is gay, he says he himself doesn't know, and they want to send him to some Christian boot camp or something. Accordingly to him, they are downright psychologically abusive and submit him to constant criticism and harassment. I believe this from personal experience. My little brother absolutely refuses to go to the Christian camp. I'm not 100% certain, but I am afraid it could be some sort of conversion therapy. It is not illegal in NC as far as I know. He ran away before they could send him. He is terrified of going there. My parents don't know where he is, but they put 2 and 2 together and called me on Sunday. I said I didn't know where he was. They told me that if he shows up, I would better call them because if I hide him, they will call the police on us, report me for kidnapping of a minor, and get me arrested. My brother said he wants to stay with me because he wouldn't be safe going back. I honestly believe this to be the case. I want to help my little brother, but I don't really know what to do about the whole situation. I am willing to let him live with me even if there are issues, one of them being that he is still in high school. I would like to know what his rights and mine are. Questions. Number 1. Can our parents send him to this camp against his will? Number 2. Can he stay with me if he wants to? He is adamant that he doesn't want to go back. I'm afraid he would be in a very difficult situation if he did, and I'm not sure he would be safe. Could I be accused of kidnapping? I'm not preventing him from going back to our parents, he just doesn't want to. All I'm doing is letting him stay with me. Is there a way I could get temporary guardianship of my brother if so he wishes? More generally, if anyone has advice about how we should navigate the situation, I will be grateful. Thank you. And a user in the comments said, I cannot answer everything, but harboring a runaway is a Class A misdemeanor in Illinois, punishable by up to a year in prison. And another user said, I am in northern Illinois as well, though not Cook County. I can tell you what I learned through attorneys and the local police. At 16, we could not encourage/aiding and abetting a minor, our daughter's friend, to leave her abusive home, but if she left her home and came to ours, we could let her in. If the police came, they did, we were instructed to tell them that we knew of the situation and follow their advice. In our case, they were well aware of the girl's home situation, knew DCFS had been involved, talked to her mother, and in the end said she had to go back home. They allowed me to drive her, and they followed. We looked into emancipation, but it is downright impossible here. If she were to quit school, not what she intended, and get a full-time job and be able to prove she could live on her own, our house is not an option, she might be granted emancipation in our county. Or, have a kid. Here is what we did and what I would highly advise. Have your brother make a log of all the things he has endured. Having a paper trail is very helpful. If he has texts from your parents, that will be helpful as well. Keep a running log now of any interactions with them. As others have mentioned, call DCFS if you feel he is in any harm's way, verbally or physically. It is in his best interest to at least get a paper trail started on that level as well. The final step we took was putting the grandparents in touch with the family attorney we spoke to about getting legal guardianship. We were told in Illinois there is greater likelihood of a family member getting custody than non-family. In the end, it cost money, but at this age, a kid's voice is important and heard eventually. A guardian ad litem was appointed who met with all parties and made a determination on where would be a better place for the minor. It was eye-opening to me how few resources are out there for kids in abusive situations who are so close to not being a minor anymore. I feel that everyone wants to play the "just wait it out" card. I know firsthand how difficult this can be, and I wish you the best of luck. And yeah guys, in my opinion, it is pretty sad to see stories like this in 2021. It just shows you that children, even in some of the richest Western nations, and no, not only the USA but also in Europe, still don't have exactly the same rights as everybody else. Update to the brother story who ran away. Quick update to my post. The situation with my brother seems to be getting clearer. Good news is he is still staying with me and likely will for some time. I can't go into too much detail, but here's what happened. We called a family lawyer who was recommended by people I know. We then called DCFS with the lawyer to explain the situation. DCFS interviewed my little brother about his home life. And they also interviewed me to check that he was safe with me and seemed to conclude that he is, even though they didn't tell me very clearly. They couldn't/didn't want to tell me whether they would recommend he stay with me or go back home however. We were also advised to call law enforcement, which we did. I also called our parents to let them know. My parents showed up at my place the next day and demanded to talk to my brother without me present. I let them in, but I stayed there the whole time. My brother did not budge and said he would stay with me no matter what and wouldn't go to the camp. Things got very tense and there was a lot of yelling and ranting and nasty things were said to my brother. That is when I said they were no longer welcome at my place and I would call the police if they didn't go away, and they left. They came back that night to tell us that my brother can stay, but he and I are disowned. They won't do anything for any of us now, they won't take him back, and we are both dead to them. They then drove back home. In a way, convincing to them let my brother stay with me, at least temporarily, was easier than I had anticipated. The price to pay with our family is high, but there was never going to be an easy solution. I was afraid of a big fight and they would call the police and accuse me of kidnapping, but thankfully that didn't happen. Good thing is my brother is not going back to our parents and our lawyer thinks that there's a good chance DCFS will allow him to stay with me. Complicated thing is that I hadn't planned to be taking care of a teenager anytime soon, so this is all new to me and frankly a bit overwhelming. We are going to work with our lawyer to establish guardianship if that can be done. My brother and I are relieved that he likely can stay here and he is safe, but there are a ton of issues we still have to deal with, like transferring schools and above all helping him adapt to a new life in a new environment. A lot of work ahead of us for sure. So guys, and as it seems right now, the situation is solved more or less, and I definitely wish OP and his brother the best for the future, and in case there are any future updates to the story, although I would already call this a happy, somewhat semi-ending, I will of course keep you posted. And in addition, if you enjoy my content, please don't forget to like the video and maybe even post some star emojis in the comments if you want to go the extra mile in terms of supporting the channel. Thank you so much in advance, it really means a lot to me and it helps my channel tremendously. And the next one is titled Ford cannot fix truck and has no suggestions. What do we do now in California? My husband and I are at the end of our rope. I will try to make this cohesive. In 2017 we bought a 2016 Ford F-150 that had 16,000 miles on it. We put 12,000 down and we have around 2 years of payments left. We bought it from a Ford dealership with a 100,000 mile warranty. Last year random engine lights kept going off in the truck, hill start assist unavailable, service advanced track and more. We took it in and they said they fixed it. We got it back 10 days later. The lights plus more start going off again. But this time the 4x4 becomes unavailable and the truck kicks into a grinding sound while doing 65 on the freeway. We take it back in, this time it is at the dealership for 7 weeks. They redo the electrical and generally have no idea what they are doing, but eventually they say they fixed it. They covered the cost, got us a rental for the entire time, we are calm people and just want our truck fixed. We got the truck back in June. 2 weeks ago, the same stuff started happening again. This time the truck was undrivable. We towed it to the Ford dealership. It has been 2 weeks and they just replaced the steering column. That is not it though. Now the service manager is saying that after they fix this, they are not going to pay for any more repairs. Obviously, that is not how the warranty works, but we feel absolutely trapped. We are in the process of moving our family 400 miles away for my husband's new job. Our main vehicle is out again for a number of weeks. This seems to violate lemon laws. It is not being fixed. They have no idea what is wrong, we don't feel safe driving it, and they have no idea what is wrong with it or how to fix it. We are at a loss of where to go from here. Any advice would be welcome. And a user in the comments said, in California, dealers and independent mechanics are governed by the Bureau of Automotive Repair. No dealer wants a complaint or investigation from them. I would tell them you need this issue resolved or the bar is your next call. If they don't fix it, call the bar. It will take months, but you may get some relief from them. Bureau of Automotive Repair under the following phone number. And another user in the comments said, I had a similar issue with Chrysler in Canada. This is not unheard of. Anyway, you are unfortunately in get a lawyer territory if you want this resolved anytime soon and to any level of satisfaction. Fortunately, the law is very clear on this. You should be able to find an attorney who can handle this for a pretty ballpark amount. If they violated the Magnuson-Moss Act, you can ask for fees. But before you go there, I urge you to give a call to the owner of the dealership/group or what is called the dealer principal. It is a long shot, but it might work for you. Edit: in my case, the dealership resold the truck and some people almost died. The case was actually used as an example when my ex-wife went to get her license to sell cars. She was all, hey, that was me. And guys, I am kind of curious to know, because I'm sure that a lot of you actually drive cars instead of me, who only drives motorcycles around here. What is your favorite brand of cars? And in your opinion, what are the most reliable cars you can buy nowadays? And you know, one of the things that I really like here in Thailand, whether it is cars or motorcycles, if you have any issue with your car, it is incredibly cheap to go to a mechanic and get the issue fixed. Whereas in Western countries, you might pay, I don't know, 50 to 100 bucks for a damn oil change. Here it is almost for free. Cost of labor is really cheap over here. Update to the Ford truck story. I figured I would update this since we just settled. Lemon law covered our truck. We retained an attorney and filed after Ford told us that they wouldn't buy back the vehicle. 2 weeks later, Ford decided to settle. The $8,000 we had remaining was paid off. The attorney fees were paid. We got back our down payment, $12,000, and a nice chunk on top of that to cover our payments for the last few years. It did take 4 or so months to resolve, and we bought another vehicle so we would have something to drive in the interim. All in all, aside from the huge hassle of the whole thing, the systems in place protected us and we were made whole. Well guys, and at least that is comforting news that once and for all the systems in place do sometimes protect you. In general, I have heard in the past, and I'm not sure how true that is exactly, that the Better Business Bureau in the United States is actually pretty effective, and when you report some sort of scam business to them, they will actually take action. Have you ever had any dealings with the Better Business Bureau? If you had any positive or negative experiences, let us know in the comments. And the next one is titled, my roommate keyed the word PEDO into my car between sometime last night and this morning. What are my options? And yes guys, unfortunately, according to the family-friendly YouTube rules, I cannot say that word out loud. This occurred in Chesapeake, Virginia. Last night, after I had gotten home from work, I had parked my vehicle in the driveway, which I don't normally do because my roommate usually parks his truck there, but the driveway was empty, so I took advantage of the empty space. I went inside and went to bed at about 8:30 last night. When I went to bed, my car was exactly the way that I left it, with nothing off about my vehicle. When I woke up this morning, I went out and I started door dashing. I don't normally use the passenger side of my vehicle for anything, I always use the driver's side. When I went to a pizza place to pick up an order, I parked in a way that showed me the passenger side of my vehicle first instead of my driver's side. No particular reason, but it just worked out that way due to the parking situation at the restaurant. When I came out, I noticed the word PEDO keyed into the side of my vehicle, and in that moment I knew that my roommate had vandalized my property. I knew it was him because several weeks ago my roommate had went into a fit of paranoid delusion and started accusing me of being a PEDophile, saying that I was like Jared from Subway and that I like to touch on little 4-year-old children. No one in my entire life has ever accused me of being that until he did. I know that it may appear as a coincidence, but no one has ever accused me of being this before him. I find it highly odd that someone would randomly key the word into the side of my car when I was just accused of being one not even a month ago. At this point right now, I have called the police and filed a report, filed a claim with my insurance company, and I let the landlord know that I was calling the police. I don't know if there's anything further I can do. What are some recommendations? And a user in the comments said, "It sounds like you have done everything you can. Even if your roommate denies what he did, filing a police report may scare him off of doing something similar in the future and establish a pattern of behavior in the event you need to file a restraining order. It may be a good idea to start looking into how to get out of your lease." And yeah guys, definitely I would not want to live together with someone who makes up such rumors about me. Maybe the roommate has some mental issues or something, because otherwise I could not explain why he would do something like this. Update to the awful roommate story. This is in Chesapeake, Virginia. It has been 3 days since I found the word PEDO engraved onto the passenger side of my vehicle. I have a couple of updates on the situation. When I got home, I confronted my roommate and he slipped up saying he didn't care when I told him that he got caught on my car's camera keying up my vehicle. I of course lied, but he didn't know that. I dropped off my car at the collision center and I heard back from them today on the total amount of damage estimated to have been done to my car. The amount is over $1,300 and that includes the deductible. According to Virginia's vandalism statutes, that is now enough to be felony vandalism. I have updated the Chesapeake Police Department on the cost and I am hoping that it gets assigned an investigator. Tomorrow I am heading down to Chesapeake General District Court in order to file a small claims suit against my roommate before he moves out in an attempted effort to recoup some of the money that I have lost so far. That includes damages, renting a vehicle and court filing fees. Wish me luck. And guys, if your roommate or anyone you know would do something like this to you, what would you do in return? What would your first response be? Let us know in the comments. And the next update to the crazy roommate story. First things first, I went down to the Chesapeake General District Court on Thursday and filed a civil suit against my roommate for over $2,500. I overnighted my copy of the summons to him, and when they arrived on Friday, I slid it under his door since it is technically his mail. Also, when I got home from work last night, I noticed that the sheriff's office had left their copies of the summons attached to the screen door. At the advice of the civil clerk of court, I am not touching it. I have an update on my car as well. I received a phone call from the collision center yesterday and my vehicle is ready to be picked up. I am excited that I'm going to be back into my car. Last but not least, I'm pretty sure that my roommate has moved out early, even though he wasn't due to move out on the 1st. The only reason I say this is because he hasn't been here in 2.5 days, and the security camera he had watching his vehicle is not in his window anymore. Thank you all for the support. I will make sure to keep you all updated on the civil case. Conclusion to the my former roommate vandalizing my vehicle story. Good afternoon, legal advice community. Today was the day that I went to small claims court against my former roommate, as I had suspected he did not show up at all. I let the judge know that he did receive both copies of the summons, the one that I'm required to mail to him and the one that the sheriff's office served him with. So there should have been no reason why he didn't show up. I also let the judge know that shortly after he received both summons, he had moved out. The judge asked me if I had any way to get in contact with him and I said no. I also said that he didn't leave a forwarding address, so I have no idea where he could be at. In the end, I requested the judge to issue judgment in my favor and she honored my request. Now I have to wait 10 days before I can file anything that would allow me to recoup my funds through alternative means. Thank you to everyone who gave me advice on this topic. I hope that my update gives everyone the conclusion they were hoping for. Well, I mean, sort of the conclusion we were hoping for, because I am still curious why the F the neighbor did this in the first place. Maybe he was just drunk or something, but I really would love to know the reasoning behind a stupid action like this. And guys, unfortunately, we have already reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories, and if you haven't already, please also go to patreon.com/ripeyoutube, where I upload exclusive Reddit videos starting at just $3 a month. This is a great way to support me in case you are interested, and the chance for me to become independent from YouTube revenue. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.